Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
We got you back in the kitchen today.
Back in the kitchen.
And back
in the kitchen.
We've had some people saying, when's Steve going to cook again? So what we've done is we got a beer and we got some food, and we're going to tell you how to make both of them.
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that?
Well, we got a lot to talk about. What we got here is a Mole Stout. And if that sounds familiar, it's because we did a small batch earlier in the year.
Yeah.
The first half of the year, this is the tests of feats of strength.
I love this.
During the first of the year, we were talking about small batches, making small batches. So we made a small batch of this Mole Stout. Mm-hmm. Well, this second half of the year, it seems like we're learning how to step up these small recipes. So what this is a 5-gallon batch, or a 19-liter batch. Mm-hmm. So here's what we got. I started with 21 quarts of water at 162 degrees Fahrenheit, or 19.8 liters at 72 C. And into that I put 10 pounds of two-row, that's 4.5 kilograms of two-row, 1 pound of Crystal 120, that's 120 Lovibond Crystal at, that's 0.45 kilograms, 1 pound of Black Patent, 1 pound of chocolate malt, 1 pound of malted rye to help with head retention a bit. And then I let that, I did a batch sparge, and sparged with 3 gallons of water at 170 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 11.3 liters at 77 C. And after I collected the wort, I added 25 grams of Fuggles in the boil for 60 minutes, 18 grams of Fuggles for 15 minutes. I fermented with US-05, Safale US-05, and then once that fermented, I took 60 grams of roasted cacao nibs, 1 cinnamon stick, 1 ancho chili, and 2 vanilla beans, and I put that into a hop bag. Mm-hmm. I tied that up, and I put that in the keg and dangled it in there with some unwaxed, unflavored dental floss, so that if, for instance, if the pepper got too hot, I could pull that out and save the beer. Save the beer.
You didn't put a participle in there, did you? Because if you dangled a participle, I'm out.
You're old school.
I'm old school.
So what do you think?
I think it's delicious. I've had the small batch one before. This is the first of the big batch I've had. Great job of making them the same beer. The chocolate stands out to me huge. This is a really chocolatey beer.
Right.
And the cinnamon and vanilla stand out to me, and it's absolutely delicious. It's thick and chewy, and good job.
If there's anything, thank you. If there's anything that I would change, I would put 2 ancho chilies in there because I'm not getting the heat.
I don't get any chili
we did from the small batch.
I would say perhaps the way to add heat would be to add maybe 2 or 3 Pekin peppers, the little. So they're going to give you that heat without any. They're like the bittering hop.
Oh yeah.
They're going to give you the heat without any real flavor addition. Ancho chilies are not terribly spicy. They're just not. So if you want to add a little kick to it, or even a half a habanero, something like that, you'll get the heat. Habaneros have a lot of flavor though.
Yeah.
That'll really change the flavor profile. So, but yeah, you could just put some more hops in it, dude. You know.
So that's the beer. We're doing something different. Yeah. We're gonna go live to Steve from the past in the kitchen for the food.
To the future. So it's time to make some chili. Let's get started. Let me give you a little rundown of the ingredients we've got today. We've got a red sauce, which I made, a green sauce. So this is green chili sauce, red chili sauce. Won't go into how to make those because we've done that on other episodes. We've got 2 pounds of al pastor pork, which has been marinated from our local butcher shop, 2 pounds of beef, and 1 pound of Mexican chorizo, a can of tomatoes, some smoked pork, onions, garlic, chilies, spices, pozole, beans. Let's make some chili, let's make some pozole, let's make some chili rellenos. All right, so now we've got our onions chopped. We're gonna put them in here and let these guys just saute up and get nice and soft for a minute. I like to do this with just a little vegetable oil, maybe a tablespoon. It's really good. That's the first step. All right, so now we're just gonna pitch our meat in there. I'm gonna start with the chorizo, which I've cut into little kind of 1 inch cubes. I'm gonna let that kind of work its magic for a minute. Most of that will melt down into just luscious porkiness, but there'll still be some little sausage chunks left at the end of the day. We're going to add our 2 pounds of coarsely ground beef and 2 pounds of the pre-marinated pork, which has been marinated at a butcher shop that I like, a little Mexican or Hispanic butcher shop. And I'm not going to really brown this. It's going to cook into the stew, but we'll just kind of let that loosen up for a minute. So that's the meat. All right, so the next step is the most important one. This is James's Mole Stout. This stuff is really good. So we're going to put in about a 12-ounce shaker of that, a little shaker glass of it. Chili. All right, so now we've put in our meat, we've put in our onions, we've put in the beer, the Mole Stout. Now we're going to do the vegetables, the tomatoes, the sauces, and the spices. So here goes a large can of peeled and roasted and plum tomatoes, and with the juice. Don't throw the juice away. Just put those guys in there. You want to break them up so that you don't just get whole big old giant chunks of tomato, because, you know, nobody likes that. But some tomato is really good in here. And we've got a tablespoon of dried oregano that came out of my garden. I've got a tablespoon of salt. Be careful with the salt. You know the old rule, my grandmother always said you can take it, you can put it in, but you can't take it out. There's a joke there somewhere, but I'm not going there. I got pre-measured 2 tablespoons of cumin. I've got pre-measured a tablespoon of chocolate cocoa powder. This is unsweetened, not unless it's quick. Don't use that. This stuff's not sweet. And then I've got a red sauce that I made. I'm going to put that in. That's about a little more than a cup. And now we've got some green chili sauce that I made. This is a little acidic. Neither of these are particularly hot, but this kind of replaces putting in chili powder. You know, if you're used to just putting in a big hunk of chili powder, this is the replacement for that. And look at that great color that we're getting out of that red sauce and the beer. And then finally, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of coarse ground organic stone ground cornmeal. So you can use masa, which is the cornmeal that you'd make corn tortillas from. I don't have any masa, but this works just as well. And this acts as kind of a binder. It kind of thickens things up, and I think it gives a little flavor to it too, though, you know, in a stew this powerful, that flavor might get lost that little bit. But it adds a little level of complexity to it. And that's chili. It's really ready to go right now. So I'm going to put a lid on this. I'm going to let it simmer for about 3 hours. It'll be great tonight. It'll be even better the next day. Check this recipe out. All right, so now we're going to make some pozole. I've got some onion and some garlic I've cut up here. There's one nice medium-sized onion and about 3 cloves of garlic. Obviously, use as much or as little as you like. We've got some of that dried oregano, another tablespoon of it. Drop that in there. This is going into about 2 tablespoons of hot vegetable oil. And then I've got some smoked neck bone, because you got to get a little soul in there, a little soul food in there. This is a smoked neck bone. This is a commercial product I got at the butcher shop. I've just cut a bit of it off to add to the pozole. And it just gives a nice smoky, hammy kind of thing to it. I really like this in this dish. And I know you purists out there, pozole is a soup. In New Mexico, it's kind of a dry side dish. This has got beans and corn in it, and some ham and some chili, so it's kind of the Arkansas pozole, but you know, it's pretty good. So now we're going to add in our white hominy or our pozole, which I've cooked off earlier. And we'll add in pinto beans. We'll stir this up. All right, so the last thing we've got to do to get our pozole and beans together is to add some roasted chopped green chilies. These are hatch chilies from New Mexico. They're canned. I didn't do it myself, but you know, you can't do everything. And then I've got some chicken stock, and I'm just going to add about a cup of this. Just enough to get this not into a soup state, but just so that it won't be dry. Just kind of see how much I need to do that with. Oh, gee, I needed all of it. So, okay. This is to be served with the chili. So these are the chili rellenos, and they've been in the oven now for about 20 minutes. They're very easy to make. If you order them in a restaurant, they'll be deep fried. I kind of try to stay away from the deep fried stuff these days. So I find this is just as good. I get some nice Anaheim or New Mexico chilies, green chilies, grill them, until you get the skin kind of blistering off, peel them, split them down the middle, take the little pith part out and the seeds, because those are kind of hot and not so good, and stuff them with about 3 ounces of cheese, pop them in the oven for 20 or 30 minutes until the cheese is all bubbly. You've got chili rellenos.
So there you go. That's Steve from the past.
Yeah.
Showing us how you cooked all this wonderful stuff.
Let's see how it tastes.
You got the beer in there with the chili. Mm-hmm. So maybe we can get some of the spiciness back. And your chili's all about meat.
Oh yeah. I generally make the chili is meat and chilies, and then I do the beans and the posole and stuff like that separately. You can blend them together. When I eat it, I throw it all in a bowl together. We did it this way today because it's a little fancier, but it can just all mix up together. We got the nice chili relleno with the cheese going. See how this is.
And who knew pig neck could be so good?
Oh man.
That's wonderful. That's good stuff. Just pair it with a beer.
Yep.
Oh,
that's pretty heavenly.
that could be dessert by itself.
Yeah,
It's
but
very chocolatey, but it goes well.
goes
with
great
that.
with this meal.
It's good to have you back in the kitchen.
It's good to be back in the kitchen.
We may not have time to get to a Thanksgiving episode, so if we miss you for the holiday, we hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you on the other side. Cheers, everybody.
Happy brewing.
Come and visit us on the web. At basicbrewing.com, you can find archive lists of both our audio and video podcasts on home brewing. You can also find our DVDs, Extract Brewing and Partial Mashing, Stepping into All Grain, Low-Tech Lagering and Decoction Mashing, Introduction to Wine Kits, and our Basic Brewing Brewer's Logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Write to James at basicbrewing.com, Steve at basicbrewing.com, or just use the contact form on basicbrewing.com.
Oh, I should clean that up a little better. Cut that.